up, you guys, and welcome back to my channel. This week I decided to do something a little different and do another sit down video. I've explained how I moved to LA, why I moved to LA, and everything like that, and the latest DM I'm getting is how I got into modeling. I get DMs almost every single day from boys and girls who are wanting to become models and asking me how it's done. So instead of sending these long paragraphs every time like I do, I decided I was just going to film a video so I can send them the link and make it easier on everyone. Okay, so first I'm going to kind of tell you guys my story and how I got started. So if you don't want to watch that, you can skip through to whatever time is right here. And then after I tell you guys how I did it, I will give you the complete rundown on how to get started. So when I was in high school, I didn't really know anything about the modeling industry. I had never really thought about it. I didn't really know what it was as a real career or how that worked at all. I didn't follow models. I wasn't super into fashion, and I was kind of just living my life in high school, doing my classes, and playing soccer. So my freshman year of high school, I kind of hit a growth spurt. I got pretty tall. I'm currently 5'11". I was probably like 5'10", 5'9" at the time. And I started posting more on Instagram. I was kind of taking more serious pictures and just kind of messing around with the app, and I just loved posting. Then sophomore year, I started getting DMs and people asking me if I wanted to shoot or saying they were mother agents and pretty much just mentioning modeling to me. I knew nothing about the industry or what it entailed as a real job, and I never thought this was a possibility for me. Then I decided I would start doing little photo shoots with my sister, and I kind of just acted like it was what I wanted to do. And I was loving just posting and doing all that stuff with Instagram. And then I started kind of doing my research and seeing how the modeling industry worked. And as I was doing my research, I found that there were a lot of free runway shows around me that I could audition for. Now at the time I lived in Maryland, so I had DC and Baltimore nearby, and I decided to sign up for something called DC Fashion Week. Now, as anyone who's really in the industry knows, this is not a real paid fashion week, but it's cute little fun shows, and I thought it was a pretty big deal at the time. I decided to go to this open casting that they had in DC, where you just walk down the little runway while they critique you, and the judges ended up actually, I guess, loving me, and they decided to use me for the promo. So they took pictures of me after everyone had their audition, and I got chosen to walk for the main guy who runs DC Fashion Week. So I thought this was pretty cool. I thought it was a big deal, and I decided, oh, okay, maybe I want to do this. So I did DC Fashion Week, and looking back, it was really shitty, but in the moment it was cool. I thought it was a big deal at the time, and it was a learning experience nonetheless. So after that, I posted pictures on Instagram, and I started using the hashtag #WeLoveYourJeans. So #WeLoveYourJeans is a Instagram-wide hashtag that IMG created to scout models. So although IMG created it, other agencies often check that hashtag because obviously there's a ton of people who want to be models under it. So that's when I got scouted on Instagram. So I'm 16, I'm going to high school playing soccer, and an agency messaged me and said that they wanted to sign me. I did my research, I sent the contract over to my aunt who is a lawyer, and I looked into it, and I ended up going for it. So that was when I signed with my first agency at the age of 16. So once I signed my contract, I was all set, and I started speaking with my agent. Now, all love to my past agency. I have since gone in a different direction, but it was a good learning experience, and it really got me started doing this job that I love. So that agency that I signed with is called a mother agency. A mother agency is an agent who signs new models who are just starting out, and then they develop them in hopes to get them placed to bigger agencies around the world. Now, when I began my developing, I think I didn't really know what I was in for. I loved doing the test shoots and going on runway shows and doing the work. Even though it was free, I was absolutely in love with it. So aside from the test shoots and the runway shows that I loved, when I was working with this agency, I would have to Skype call them and measure myself on camera, and they would pretty much tell me what I needed to do with my weight to reach my goal. So this is kind of where the toxic part of the industry came in. I was a 16-year-old size 0 who was naturally skinny, but I played soccer my whole life. And because of soccer, my thighs were very muscular. I overall just have a really muscular build, kind of like a guy. I have super broad shoulders and thick thighs, and that's just the way that I am. So I worked my butt off for a while, working out all the time. I never had really serious eating problems, but I would think about it a lot. That was probably the first time in my life I ever saw myself as not skinny. I had a lot of hard time trying to lose the weight because there wasn't really any weight to lose. It was just muscle. Now, this isn't that agency's fault at all. They were just trying to get me to the New York standard, but I naturally am just built muscular and was honestly still growing at this time. So after a while of being signed to that agency and kind of not really going anywhere, and I wasn't being sent to LA or Asia or anywhere else overseas, I was kind of giving up. I decided that it was probably time to move on. So whenever 2 years went by, me and this agency kind of decided to part ways and go in our own direction. I just kind of needed to grow without them. So that is when I started freelancing. So freelancing is totally an option for anyone that wants to be a model. It's working for yourself without an agency. You can reach out to brands, you can reach out to whoever you want, and you get to do it without needing permission from anyone, and nobody's taking money from you. So in the 2 years that I was with that previous agency, I only had 2 paid jobs, and then once I started freelancing, I made that in my first 2 weeks. Now I do owe it to that last agency for making the connections for me, but I think a huge thing for when you're on the job is when you're working, you need to make them want to bring you back. So I freelanced for a while, and then I decided to move out to LA. Now LA did not revolve around modeling at all. I wanted a new life, new opportunities, new scenery, and to get away from a lot of toxic things. And modeling was just kind of like a perk that had a bunch of opportunities out here as well. So the week before I moved to LA, I started submitting to a ton of LA agencies through models.com. I'll talk more about this website later, but this is where I found my current agency. So I heard back from a few agencies and met with a few of them once I got to LA, but the one that I really liked was Bounty Models. So I signed with them, and I'm currently signed with them, and I love them, and I've already done more paid work with them than I had done at all previously in my career. So that's kind of where I'm at now. I'm looking to expand to more countries and agencies and being placed in everything in the future. With COVID, it's kind of difficult, and also I'm super content and happy with where I'm at. I'm making some money through it, I'm enjoying it, but I'm also getting to focus on college and my outside career. If any of you aren't already subscribed to me, I do have a normal job and I'm in college just like everyone else. So it's kind of like I'm living the best of both worlds in my head. So I'm super content and happy with it, and I'm just gonna see where it takes me. But since I have been through all of it and I do know exactly what the industry looks like, I can tell you guys how you can get started, what kind of agencies you should trust, and maybe you'll go farther than me. So now I'm gonna kind of explain how I think you guys should get started and kind of just tell you what I tell everyone who DMs me on Instagram. So currently the modeling industry is revolving around social media a ton. This is kind of the sad part of the industry because a lot of people are getting signed and going way farther just because they have a following on social media, rather than the people who actually can do a really good photo shoot and make an editorial look editorial. But this is why I recommend starting with your social media. If you have an Instagram and you can, make it public and start posting pictures that represent kind of who you are as a model. Try different poses, try being serious, do close-ups far away, and just kind of learning how you move and pose. Now this is super awkward at first, I know, I've been there, but you will go from feeling awkward to being able to move continuously, which is huge in the industry. If I have some videos, for example, I will insert them.
Perfect. Love it.
While you're doing this and working on your Instagram, you should also be researching the industry that you're trying to join. Make sure you know what you're getting yourself into regarding the toxicity around weight and height. The industry is evolving and becoming more lenient, but it's still rare, and agencies often will tell you to lose weight. Another thing you need to learn is what kind of model are you. So you can do commercial work, editorial work, runway, it all kind of depends. Usually the editorial and runway is more for like the taller, really thin girls with a unique look, and commercial is kind of more girl next door. Now I've done both, I'll insert an example of both. And you may be able to do both too. But if there's one that you think you're more fit for, then you want to kind of create pictures like that to show what you can do. Now Instagram is not something you need to do at all. There are plenty of models who sign without social medias, who still don't have social medias. It's just, for me, I think a really easy way to get recognized and to show them what you can do. Once you feel that you're at the point where you're ready to get started, that's when you will take your digitals. These are pictures you will need throughout your entire modeling career, and if you ask models, many of us hate doing them. When you take your digitals, you should be wearing something that's form-fitting and super simple. I usually go with black jeans and a black tank top, or you can wear white or gray. You should have little to no makeup on and no jewelry, and take some photos with your hair down and with your hair up. You want to take these pictures in a well naturally lit room or outside, and you can take them on your phone, you can take them on a camera, with whatever you want. You should be in front of a plain background and just take a ton. Now when you're taking these pictures, you're going to want to take some full body, some from the waist up, and some headshots. You're going to get the front and the profile and just pose completely naturally. These are to show agencies what you look like normally when you're not posing and under all that makeup, and kind of just the blank slate that they're working with. I will insert some of mine and some from the top models in the industry. You also may want to take some in a swimsuit. Some agencies require this, and you will just want to wear a completely plain black bikini. I will insert some examples. Now, once you've taken your digitals, I would go to the website models.com. I'm not sure who runs models.com, but this is where I find the agencies that are safe and official. Once you get onto the website, you can search by country, city, whatever, and find any agencies that are around you or maybe where you want to be, and just kind of read into each agency and who they represent. Once you find the agencies that you're interested in or you would like to sign to, you can usually go to their website and there will be a section to submit. When you get to this section, you'll fill in all your about info, your height, your measurements, and all that stuff, and then you'll usually send in your digitals and maybe a video as well. When you're taking your digitals, you should also take a video of you walking, doing your runway walk back and forth, because some agencies might want this as well. I'll include an example of that. Once you submit to these agencies, all you can kind of do is wait and see if you hear back. Sometimes they don't. I've had plenty not answer me, but if you're what they are looking for, they will reach out to you. Don't keep submitting. That doesn't heighten your chances, but maybe you go on Instagram, and if they have a hashtag that they use for scouting, then use that on your Instagram post from now on. If you don't hear back from any of the agencies that you're looking for, then you're just not what they want at this time. You have to just not give up. I have been turned away by so many agencies until I got to the point where I was happy, and I've talked to so many that I ended up just not wanting to work with. This is when another option comes in, which is open calls. In a COVID-free world, usually these agencies have things that are called open calls, which will be like a few hours a week where models can come in and be seen by agents. I've gone to multiple of these myself, and they can be a little bit intimidating, but it's a much better way to make sure that you get in front of the agents. When you go to the open calls, you want to make sure you're wearing the same type of thing that you wore for your digitals. Something plain, natural makeup, and just look like yourself. You want to bring a portfolio if you have one with all of your pictures, and you also want to bring that black bikini in case they ask you to put it on. There are tons of things to remember, so I'm kind of going back and forth. But another thing about the digitals and casting is you always want to be wearing a plain pair of black heels. I will insert a picture of ones you should have. Now, if you go to the open call, you submit online, you post your hashtags, and nothing works, then you can always become a freelance model. More likely than not, there are photographers somewhere in your area or within an hour distance that want models to shoot with. Whether you sign with a mother agency or you're freelancing, once you get started, you will begin doing test shoots. Test shoots are photos that you set up with photographers where nobody gets paid, and it's photos for work. This is how you'll start building your portfolio and having something that you can show to agencies and show what you can really do. If I can find my first portfolio, I will include some of those pictures. Your portfolio can be like in a binder with your pictures printed out, or it can be on an iPad. I use an iPad, I just have my pictures on there, and that's how most models do it nowadays. But if you don't want to put the money into it or you don't already have an iPad, then don't. Definitely just print them out and put them in a binder, and it doesn't make a difference. Once you have your test shoot, whether you're freelancing or you're with a mother agency, it will go from there. You may do free work for a while before you get to do paid bookings, but I put in the time, and you definitely can too. And sometimes you'll just get paid jobs from the start, so you never know. The great thing about modeling that I love so much is I did it for free for so long because I loved it, and then when I started getting paid, it seemed like I wasn't even working and I was getting paid to just have fun. It is the best job ever. It is my absolute dream. And although the industry has its toxic side, it is beautiful once you start creating artistic fashion that you're so proud of and you love seeing and being like, that's me, I made that photo happen. There's also no better feeling than being on the runway. If you're interested in runway, definitely pursue that. I would say see if there are any like free auditionable shows around you. There are a ton of New York Fashion Week shows that you can openly audition for if you go on Online Fashion Week's website, I think is what it's called. I'll put that in the description below. But the main thing that you want to be careful of is there are also a ton of scams in the industry. If anyone asks you to pay money, it is a scam. You should not have to pay any mother agents. Your mother agent will only get paid if you get paid and should only be taking 20% of what you make. If anyone offers to sign you, if you pay them a certain price, then it is most likely a scam. And if you're not sure, then you can DM me on Instagram and I can totally let you know what I think about the situation. That is pretty much everything I have when you're just getting started on modeling. I have tons more stories about how to get into certain things, your model bag, examples of outfits, and everything like that, but I'm just gonna see how this one does first. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope this video was at least a little bit helpful and not all over the place. If you have any questions at all, you can comment them down below or DM me on Instagram and I will 100% answer you. Good luck on your little model journeys, and I hope you pursue it if you're interested, because it is seriously the most fun job ever. Okay, I love you guys. Bye.